Hello, for here, and as I said in the Cataclysmo episode, I'm going to begin uploading the story of Limbus. Well, the story of this from this point onwards, to have an archive, you could say, of my breakthrough, my ideas, and it will also work as a cute reminder of how much progress do I have with my drawing skills for the model. So yeah, the event of this time is the 22 volume. Volume, my friend. You're actually playing this time, so
우리보다 적합한 협회가 있지 않겠는가? 결투란 백주 대낮에 구경꾼들로 인산인해를 이룬 곳에서 치르며
I tend to use it a little lower when I am not actually playing for the story, because the farming I don't actually take a lot of attention, just letting in win rate. So 20 threads after chapter 9, and as you have, as you've seen, I think I'm using let me see what happens first. A funeral was held for Martin and the LCE researchers today. I thought I would see more than my fair share of deaths through my journey with the signers. But never before had I witnessed this many people gather in one place to mourn the deceased together. The unfamiliarity made me feel a bit out of place. Am I doing this right? I also not. I'm not very good with voices, so probably not going to see me change them a lot, which is a shame considering new intervallos are not voice, only vocab. Most of the sinners seem to be feeling that similar sense of being out of their element as well. Some of them were asked Marceau, apparently the most knowledgeable of them all when it comes to funeral process and etiquette, all manner of questions for pointers. Really, Marceau, for funeral, huh? Are they hinting at something? Some mother, Marceau? Expressing respect is the primary purpose. Hand placement and gesture are important if that objective can be accomplished. Hey, where do I put this? Beneath the pillar to the right. Can't any of you quit chattering for 1 second? Have you all forgotten the instruction to carry yourself with solemn propriety that befits the occasion? Cut me some slack. I haven't been at two funerals that much. I mean, I did tell you to read the manual, even underline all the important parts for you. Sorry, the wall of text was just too much for me. My focus started fizzling out from page 30 onwards. Had not ever seen her attend a funeral before, back when we set foot in that green manor in T-Corp. To speak of the funeral held in young Heathcliff's manor, does that not? The one bereft of the dead? Bereft of the dead. I mean, someone had to have died because there wouldn't have been property dispute being enough to involve the UFI Association notarization otherwise. I have said this time again, but it was just an intentional anonymity to prevent family strife. Intentional anonymity, is it? If the situation was indeed as thou sayest, then there was no helping it, forsooth. Yet this is a pity that the dead was not named at their own funeral. I wonder what are they talking? Must have been erased from my mind. The name of the deceased was Catherine's funeral. She was buried there to Heathcliff. I have thoroughly reviewed the past 5 years' worth of local newspapers pertaining to the matter, yet no such name relevant to the case was identified, manager. It's fine, Clockhead. At least you remember. That's good enough, ain't it? It had to be the Golden Globes influence. Somewhere along the way, everyone's memory of the event at Wuthering Heights had become warped. The sinners seemed to think that the Golden Bow had always been there in that manner, and that Nellie was coaxed into stealing it by Herman Linton in their minds was not a grieving brother who had been conducting research for his dead sister's sake. Oh. Yeah, I guess the blank spot in the memory does make a different story. Also, I will not say it was Coates. Well, how do they know it was by Norman actually? Herman. Just because it was Jisang's friend? Now I question it, not Don Quixote, not Faust. Every single senior believed that twisted version of the memory as it was proven fact. Heathcliff and I gave up trying to correct them instead. We had to just check in each other's memories every now and then. Because if there's something that he and I realized, it was an anything tattooed Catherine had already been painted over. Every detail glided and glows over with the glow of the bow. The point is, how should I put this? The circumstances at the funeral didn't exactly leave us much room to properly express our condolences back then. Between Heathcliff running on a rampage at that Hindley guy bent on interfering with the execution of the will, I assume that sort of impediment was pretty common stuff for funerals, but apparently not, huh? No, well, I think it's actually rare to see a place that follows proper funeral procedures. I have traveled around quite a bit myself, but I can't confidently say that I have ever been to a legitimate funeral. The one at Wuthering Heights was one of the more proper funerals, if only for pretending to have a process. They at least prepared a coffin and had a normal reading of the will. It seems funerals are far from being an everyday custom in the city. Well, a lot of people die every day. Funerals are considered rather extravagant practice here as well. Corporations are not eager to grant time off just because an irrelevant someone has died, and the price of real estate seldom makes it seldom makes it viable to build and erect memorial houses on it. Then, what other options do people usually have? Use memories? Yeah. I used to just let them were to die, and after one night's sleep, the bodies were gone just like that. Better than paying lots of money to bury them somewhere just to have that stir up a lot of that rumors, eh? Rumors? You know, rumors about there being valuables buried with the bodies, or an arm being some fancy prosthetics out that rot. Yeah, I guess that will make, you could say, business of, how do you call it? Grave robbing? Better to let the dead go on in peace than bury them in a grave just for some thoughts to later desecrated. Yeah, in the city that seems to be the case, huh? Or maybe burn them? Make them ashes, I guess. In Hongyuan, people tend to set up graves if they have enough room to spare. Of course, there wasn't a guarantee they wouldn't lose the body room by the next restructuring ray. Hohenheim scoffed and hung his head. Odious foolishness, all of it. Comforting the soul of the departed, another mendacity. All these funds so carelessly squandered, all for the purpose of furnishing the living with a fragile excuse to cling on. Are those words from his heart, or just something saying to convince himself? Whichever was the truth, I couldn't see the look on his face with his head tucked so low. The funeral didn't last long. It was just a brief moment of silence, followed by a few quick goodbyes that were shorter still. The ceremony came to a close once Alisa who was still in recovery, came to pay her final respects. The flames devoured the coffins of Marton and the other researchers, announcing the end of their existence with a crackle of firewood, burning the bodies. So, I suppose you will believe it now? Oh. We're staying until Gregor's stable enough to travel. Dante says we will remain here until Gregor's condition settles. Gregor came to his senses again a few days after his unforeseen metamorphosis in the battle against the Tom Norse father. He was given a checkup and Hohenheim said there's no cause for concern. Physically, that is. The psychological assessment turned up disastrous, to say the least. Gregor was declared unfit for combat and deployment for the team being. So you won't be leaving us just yet? Good to know. Then I assume you will be okay with us borrowing Sinclair for a while? Me? Yes, you, the LCA, wants to look into the sign you manifested, Sinclair. The higher-ups didn't waste a second green light in the project, which means what I'm telling you is more a notice of investigation than a request for permission. Huh? What investigation? What are you? It's just a rather rudimentary instance of human experimentation. Calm yourself. Human experimentation? Did you really have to put it like that, boss? Not to worry, Sinclair, a swipe or two on your skin and maybe some talk therapy, that's all there is to it. Of course, if we had your consent, the avenues of research could be vastly... No, I'm not giving you my consent! For your reference, the other departments have also submitted some quite enthusiastic requests for research and observational purposes. Oh, you have no idea. We had to get the boss to fend off the LCA's Mirror Observatorium department and their hissy fits. They wanted to be the first ones to get their hands on you and spearhead the research, you see. And had we loved them, they would have kept you for a good few months before letting you go, so the least you could do is to thank us. Is be a good boy and cooperate. Just in time our researchers are here. It is a wave at the researchers who were filling out the funeral hall after paying their respects. It wasn't long before Sinclair found himself surrounded on all sides. Well, Sinclair doesn't have a sinking identity. Wait, I'm perfectly capable of walking there on my own, so just don't run any painful tests on me. Of course, of course. Estoy strong, Sinclair. All I could do was to offer an unspoken encouragement to Sinclair, who sounded ready to collapse into full-blown panic any minute. What about you? You going out with them? You're not going with them? Oh, it's back to the long-term recovery ward for me. I always thought scientific research was the one thing that framed my passion, but with the recent events have introduced me to the merits of paid sick leave. I realized that time off beats research projects in my book, marginally. Enjoy it with it last. I highly suspect that every request for PTO submitted by our department will be rejected for the rest of the year. Well, it's true your average corporation doesn't give more than a week off a year. As soon as Alisa threw off with her driving self, the researcher said Sinclair and Whisk carried really him away. Alright, we should get going too. Oh, do you all have somewhere else to be? Well, I had thought I'd go visit Gregor. I'm worried about him. Got something I said I would help with? Gotta be there for it? I'm going with Sinclair to get some rest, also to keep an eye on the researchers and stop them if they try anything fishy with experiments. Maybe let me know later if you need anything, Dante. The sinners fan out in different directions. They seem to have their own errands to run, or stay at the LCE. Don't tell me I'm going to have my team divided once again. Can't you sing, brother? I haven't using... No, everyone's busy with their own thing. Oof. The only ones keeping my company now were Ryoshu, who had been filling the air around thick with cigarette smoke, and Don Quixote, who was sniffing and asking around at every corner for Vespa in a valiant quest for new color fixer whereabouts. Faust was still here too, staring blankly into the air. Is she accessing the Gessel shaft? You seem to have some time to spare, manager. As I stood there wondering what I should do next. To pass the time, Hohenheim, who had been apparently finishing tackling and signing the stack of papers, walked over to me. This makes things rather convenient. There is something I had intended to discuss with you and Sina Ryoshu, a matter that requires your assistance. What kind of assistance? Well, says CH. Wait a minute, did Ryoshu just step in as my interpreter? It's not that I don't appreciate his gesture, especially since she will usually snap at me and tell me to find someone else to interpret whenever the issue came up. But I can't help but doubt whatever her choice method of interpretation actually accomplishes anything. Well, considering Hohenheim, maybe he does understand acronyms. Maybe not. There is, I must admit, a certain novelty in witnessing the reconstitution of that which requires interpretation into yet another linguistic form, equally demanding of it. It would seem we're in need of more manpower. Where is the mersault? Scratching his head, Hohenheim looked around for a moment before coming to a sudden pause, as though an idea had crossed his mind. At the end of his gaze was a certain someone who was busy but badgering LCA, praised with her relentless questioning. Done? Well, Spray might know where he is if thou knows not. No, listen closely. The one I seek is a bearer of higher fashion in the likeness of a bow. Indeed, a bowl cut, as Matthias said. You there, why don't you join us too? And those two speak of me? The LCA personnel who were cornered by Don Quixote and her rather forceful interrogation regarding Vespa's whereabouts took the opportunity and fled the scene without so much as a backward glance. The moment their captor turned her head to answer Hohenheim. Indeed, there is a task that requires your assistance. But I have yet more words to trade with the most noble yellow harpoon. You seek to emulate the virtue of chivalry, thus that entails turning down the earnest plea of those in need? Aye. For the sake of clarity and distinction, I will be prone to assign you a different identifier from that of my assistant. You are to be number 2, that is, assistant number 2. I have not yet concluded my exchange with the yellow harpoon, but no true knight will abandon those who call for aid. But I speak thy quest, how may I be of service for thee? Delegating the interpretation of the manager's speech to sinner number 4 has proven to be counterproductive. As such, your task will be to report to me what the manager says. Oh, that is indeed a simple task. However, this... WKOOI? You that mine understand this well, pretty help me to that little time to uncover this mystery. Relate the manager's words, not Sinner Riosh's. They are asking you what kind of assistance you need. The request for interpretation was not directed to you, but I cannot deny that your meddling in the present circumstances is a welcome one. It was simply that the irrationality and inefficiency of your suboptimal staffing choice and workflow have become sufficiently unbearable. Faust hopes this was not some guileful scheme delivered to elicit Faust's cooperation. In any case, manager, this request of mine concerns an investigation into back doors located in the house's pillars. I deem that the two of you shall be the ones most familiar with the structure and layout of the house. After all, you were the one monitoring the entirety of the 5-pronged assault operation, and Sinner's number 4 familiarity does not bear repeating. Do we go to the high spiders right away? What the... Ostra? I actually don't know. No? Do we go with... No, that's... What was the acronym? You have assistant enough. Perhaps you could help Faust? Sure. Although not word for word, Faust relayed my intention to Hohenheim, who responded by shaking his head. No immediately, no. There is one more member you should be bringing along. Kira. One more member? Singing my titled my head, Hohenheim pushed up his glasses. The apprentice will capture alive in the House of Spiders. Kira. She has regained consciousness. A little sip of water. Survivor. Oh yeah, thinking. Well, Let's see, record word. The place Hockenheim let us that look like let us look. The place Hockenheim led us to look less like a recovery ward and more like an interrogation chamber. So every single medical equipment installed around seemed to be a state of the art. This place looks well equipped. Probably a direct order from upper management. Although technologies to restore lost body parts are common enough in the city, a facility of this kind is required to preserve the original form of her lower body in the reconstruction process while keeping the cost reasonable. Reasonable, huh? Do you want to ask how expensive the other options are if this counts as reasonable? A windowless room thick with the sharp scent of medicine and chemicals. Kira was sitting on the bed at the center of the room, kicking her feet as she regarded us. Miss G actually got the attire right. Use a tank top? Well, no, it's not a tank top. It's just a top, right? A deportive one. For someone recovering from bisection, she didn't look much different from how she would appear when I had seen her through the sinner's shared vision. So yeah, these ones are tattoos. She was captured alive for the extraction of information, yes. How far along is the progress of the extraction? It hasn't yet begun actually. We're waiting until the lines of information that warrant questioning can be isolated. So far, all available personnel have been fully engaged in analyzing the documents and items discovered in the House of Spiders. Then what have been doing here? There is work to be done contingent upon information obtained only from a recent inhabitant of the House of Spiders. Following a discussion with the upper management, I have decided to put you to use as the company had originally intended. No TV, no comics books, just a super pricky girl and a cold shoulder whenever I ask for something to pass the time. I know you suddenly need my help? Give me one reason I should cooperate. Hockenheim didn't so much as twitch an eyebrow at Kira's biting tongue. He merely gave her a nod with a steely, imperturbable expression. I didn't ask for your help, but you to use it, I believe, is what I say. What? Your survival is not incidental. Is it a result of calculation? The company anticipates a potential profit by keeping you alive, expected gain as the term goes. Without such a forecast on the company's part, you will have already been disposed of. The upper management consists of people who will be disinclined to tolerate the daily maintenance and depreciation costs of this room, even at half their current numbers. Which brings us to our next point. Should you insist on maintaining this uncomparative attitude, the company may decide to convene a meeting to reassess your work, or shall we say, lack thereof, in its projected income statement. Well, suffice to say that such a reassessment will skew heavily against your favor. The outcome will be a recommendation for immediate disposal. Hockenheim always had a way with words that could prickle and sting. But with Kira, it almost felt as if he had traded the usual turn of edge for a sharper knife, intent on twisting it where it hurt. I'm dead meat as soon as my usefulness runs out anyway. It's not like you're gonna let me live, not after I kill a bazillion of your guys. So you anticipate some form of corporate level retaliatory response against your person. That is indeed a curious line of reasoning. Then I must tell you that unlike your typical backstreet syndicates such as the middle corporate entities of the city tend to avoid choices that might incur losses. The value of the information that could be extracted from apprentices of the middle and the combat prowess honed under the tutelage of a great brother of the middle. These two considerations are likely what increase your value in the eyes of the company. You all got zero self-respect, huh? You should consider yourself fortunate. Huh? The heck are you on about? Other companies will not solicit your cooperation by means of a verbal exchange. Your interrogator will simply open your cranium, harvest your brain, and extract any and all necessary information without going through intermediary steps such as this. Even without resorting to such methods, the range of available means to compel the disclosure of information is practically limitless. Truth serums, hypnotic suggestions, electrical shocks, and stimulations, and of course procedures utilizing distortions and abnormalities. That being said, the LC department prefers to distance itself from such uncivilized approaches that may entail complications and after effects. I do hope that we share a similar predilection. You are so freaking annoying, you know that, mister? The feeling is entirely mutual. Even the baiting chill of his threat to sink in, Hohenheim turned toward the exit. Give her some patch and bring her along. I don't quite seem to be myself today, no. Disregarding that was too rather foolish thing to say. I will defer this matter to you, manager. Work of this sort likely falls more within your capabilities than my own. And with that, Hohenheim stepped out of the room, leaving me to deal with Kira. His reaction was understandable. The LCA had only just finished laying its researchers to rest. Kira was probably the last person anyone would want to face right now, much less speak to. What should I even say to persuade her? Oof. He was still carrying the thought when someone quite unexpectedly made her way to Kira. Yoshihide? You. Heard you got stabbed in the back by my tias. That's not true. Papa wasn't landing a fatal blow unless he could throw me too. That's why he did exactly that, to aim for the enemy's head. Besides, he made the right choice, a little sacrifice ain't a thing in a family. Family, coming from him, a middle moth thrown out on his kennel. Doesn't sound ridiculous even to you? That thrown out? That fucker Matthias was a great brother only by technicality. He fucked up badly, he was still family by name, but underneath it, everyone hoped he would disappear quietly on his own. He was that family member nobody wanted around. Same treatment for me, being his blood not surprising is the for the ball coat too. It's the same treatment. Same tastes? Oh, young Ryoshu could be that, though also does have a passionate zeal for the fix. I quickly clapped a hand over Don Quixote's mouth as she smoothly chimed into the conversation. So what exactly is your point? The point is, you are taking too long. If you can decide whatever you want to live or die, I can shorten the hesitation. Seek you or I will sink right this instant. And what does that mean? Cooperate quietly or I will snap your neck completely right this instant. Sink isn't such a bad way to go if you are keen on taking the loyalty act straight to the grave. This is so crappy. No, too crappy. Whatever, I get it, okay? If I will tag if that's what you want so bad. That actually work. Fixers will go out in a blaze of glory and actually the strong ones. It's the ones who survive, the ones who live to see another day and keep getting stronger. Anyway, Yoshihide, what's up with you talking in weird-ass abbreviations? Like, sing. That's so random, who even says that? Ryoshu didn't bother to reply and simply chewed on the mouth end of their cigarette. Well, is that really the right call? To her were probably the people she needs to settle the score with. As if half her tattoos are gone, Clock. They even confiscated her book. You think the middle sorry excuse for loyalty means so much for this trade that she will bite us? Half her tattoos? So if you got cut in half, let's say the part is not connected to the brain loses her powers, maybe? Or do they just like completely erased it? Besides, poof. No, better hear it from her instead. Tell me why Matthias kicked the bucket. That's cause... Well, cause Papas was weaker than you all. Yeah, you are the jerk's brats, alright. Kira pushed herself from the bed with a sore face, but at least she didn't argue back. And we called Halkenheim, who had been waiting outside back in. I assume the prisoner was successfully persuaded. Come, you will find your weapon on the table. You might use it in the event of an emergency. What the hell? I can't even unsheath it. You won't be able to use it without authorization. The code has been slightly adjusted. Now then, let us head back to the House of Spiders at once. The back door is up and waiting for us. We made our way to the House of Spiders with Kira trailing behind us, looking like she was smelling something particularly fishy on us. She could actually begin talking a little bit with Donkey. Maybe she gains the spirits to join the LCD? Yeah, this version. Wayfarer. What's that new symbol? That's... I don't know that one. Only battle maybe with waves or something like that. If I remember, there is no... it's a symbol of death. I forgot, I use my encephalin. Well, that's why I have voxel, right? And you feel battles. Oh yeah, I was talking about syncing, so I wanted to... no, it's alright. I can live without Gregor. I wanted to use syncing for chapter 9 because, you know, I haven't... Otis was the new character, but I was unable for the accident of the split. Ended up using Burn, that is the one Ryoshu at least combined with Mersol. Which one was the other? Gregor and who was? Don't remember. Well, now I can test it because of the new Ryoshu from Walpurgis and how you call it? Ishmael. I didn't pull for her in the last Walpurgis either. A few days had passed since our last visit, but the place looked markedly different what we remember. So I should be level up Faust to also use her. It's new. The sight of the hollow, frigid atmosphere and the endless stretch of corridors had not changed. But Callisto's so-called artworks were now covering white sheets. An unfamiliar device were affixed all around the back doors. So the ring is recording their arts. Pretty might those people either be? Oh, yeah, the blue ones, the ones that came before to Callisto and became sculptures. Looks like some shady bastards moved in already. Or got the reaction from Handheim, so stepped forward and gestured to one of the oddly dressed figures. It seems introductions are in order for both sides. This is team leader Alan from Wayfarer Company, who will be working with us on the investigation into the house backdoors. So it is indeed a different company. Wayfarer. Something using some variation of Warp Corp, maybe? Considering they can introduce themselves in the backdoors. Well, maybe that they use backdoors too, just not develop completely like the ring. A corporate entity partner with Limbus company, responsible for providing portals technology. It has on prior occasion been referred as the new or aspirant W Corp, though the name is an unofficial one. Oh yeah, the ones that want to replace W Corp after their increasingly losses and lack of energy. Our employees also have taken the new L Corp, something we have in common, even that we're both chasing after the same horizon. I remember that company buying to take W Corp's place, right? The same horizon. He was probably talking about getting recognized as a wing. After all, the L Corp has already fallen well. The Corp, from what I heard, is free-falling at this point. They sure are. And more because we didn't resolve the disappearing cases. We solved the blood fiend cases. And these are the manager and the seniors of the LCB department or field operations unit, frequently deployed to deal with on-site matters firsthand. They have more personnel, but the rest are tied up with other duties elsewhere. Only a handful will be joining this investigation effort. I understand field operations units are almost always understaffed anyway. The support you have provided us is more than sufficient. Wait. Alan gave us an understanding nod. The man slipped off his bulky helmet before extending his hand in greeting. If were not for the name, I would actually think tough it was what they call the two, well, the guy and gear that were so into one in library. Emma and Noah, yes. From which Emma is actually the guy and Noah the woman. Pleased to meet you. Yeah, well, he has a lot grayer hair. Your acquaintance, the name is Alan, leader of Doorbridge Team 4. Likewise. My foes could even relay my reciprocal greeting words spilled out of Alan's mouth in an strangely uneven rhythm, as if my ticking didn't bother him at all, like he was sticking to a script he had rehearsed. I have heard great things about you, Manager Dante of Limbus Company at the Boost Team's performance. You capitalize on the suppression of distortions at T-Corp as leverage to push your products, and the profits were nothing short of staggering, I heard. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be distortion resolving specialists to the public. What's that product part about? The manager says it was merely a matter of luck. They also look forward to working with you on this task. Are you the interpreter? In that case, I'll be sure to consult the manager only when both of you are available. Sure. Faust didn't seem particularly pleased with the role Helen had pinned on her, but she nodded anyway. She quietly came to my side and asked where my earlier question will Alan carried on with Hohenheim. He's referring to the monolith sales project. The grade was attributed to the LCB at the express request of Mr. Hubert, the Corps executive director. But how many monoliths have we recovered? From our part, we only recovered one. I think LCD said they also got a few. So it's like they're growing monoliths from the ground, maybe? That's an exaggeration, of course. Oh, so that's how the rumors spread, huh? Or like we make distortions from people. We have reviewed the arrangements. Now I understand you will be assisting in verifying what lies beyond the back doors. I would appreciate it if you could share any prior knowledge you have about where these back doors connect, as detailed as you can make them if you don't mind. Hohenheim fixed Kira with a pointed look. So Kira responded by defiantly cocking her head in a show of irritation. She just gave up and sealed the sliver of the information she had. Honestly, I got pretty much nothing if it's about Robo-Unk and his room. Ah, Callisto. I mean, I had seen Albina hit up that door and the other one over there when she was popping out to farm stuff, but... Farm? Oh, it's gathering material. I see, what kind of material. Human gods and all that. She will come back holding piles of them. So they're probably connected to some backstreets area. The backstreets. Any more details? Can you stop praying? You're lucky pissing me off. What, that's literally all I got, for real. For a moment, Alan leveled Kira with a stiff expression. And then before I could register what had happened, Kira's head jerked to the side from a sudden punch by Alan. Ah. I thought Kira was nimble enough to dodge a surprise attack easily, but this one seemed to have caught her completely off guard. She stood there blinking, eyes round in rude surprise. Actually, it wasn't that he caught off her guard, it was the motion of the punch itself that somehow felt off. The fist being raised, the arm being extended, the blow making contact, the chain of action was there, but it just didn't look normal. Like they were skipping pace, steps. Maybe their attack seems teleport. Maybe. Did you just hit me? What the hell's wrong with? As Kira railed from the unexpected strike, Don Quixote spoke up in a cold, sharp tone. So what manner of discourtesy is this? With all that whining I told her, the brat could use a lesson to remind her of her place. I had no intention of damaging your company, I said. Of course, I simply assumed the level of warning would not be inappropriate in this case. Team Leader Alan, that sort of conduct might not be an issue in your organization, but it is here. Shouldn't it happen again? Do understand that we might choose to terminate today's joint engagement without delay. I apologize. I will keep this in mind going forward. Alan sat down without arguing back, but Kira looked far more satisfied with how Hohen handled the situation. He has sucked me in the face and walked us scot-free. So freaking annoying. Fortunately enough, her grumbling then escalated into her lashing out at Alan. That punch you know, though, what was that? It exhibited a behavior that defied the standard laws of physics. Presumably a form of technology utilized by Welfare Company. Let's resume the task at hand. Scenario should give Manager Alan whatever information you have. Oof. That door should lead to one of the ring-protected doors. The other two on the left, I remember they were marked with an X painted with blood. But I can't remember what actually these are blurry tests. It's a blurry. That's not what it traduces, but more or less that's the idea. It seems that all the information we can provide with that suffice. We know that there's likely to connect to a perceivable area. That's already a big improvement in terms of intel for Welfare Company's backdoor mapping progress. Which means there's a chance of us encountering a space beyond human perception past those doors. His eyes are so they illuminate and lost colors in second one. Alright, then I will proceed with connection verification. Which door shall we test first? Well, let's start with the one scenario you mentioned. You don't trust me at all, huh? Then why even bring me along? Ignoring Kira's jab, Alan began setting us various devices on the door and soon an elegant white door opened before us. Shall we? Are you joining us as well, young Hohenheim? Just these ones. There are procedures for handling over field operations. Okay, let's see what's in the... So we chose the one with the turf of the ring? What is this, some kind of wildlife exhibit? The moment we step in, the lights hit us all at once, drawing skins and frowns from the sinners thanks to my lack of physical eyes. I could make out a room filled with statues or perhaps taxidermied animals. It felt like a gallery of sorts, but it was so quiet that the air itself seemed to carry a strange, somber weight. After a moment, someone shattered the silence, but it wasn't Don Quixote, our usual suspect. Holy shit, the scale is just insane. That's the whale from 8 Association Great Lake Special Issue. Huh? Well, I guess, yeah, it was technically made from different whales, right? Kira would have seemed beaten down all along, screamed with a bit more energy in her voice. Man, seeing it in real life sure hits different, and the Indigo Elder solo one-shot these monsters with that harpoons of his, huh? It's a Great Lake whale. Doesn't look like the one we encountered, though. Organisms of various sorts can be identified here. Singularity modified oatskids burn. They look almost alive, they're not, right? No, they're taxidermy. Not the Robo-Unk did say that the ring has these zoos where they put monsters on display alive. Man, this would be way more fun if we could see them moving once. Everything here's dead, meh. It still looks crazy sick though, the vibe really hits. And though she was trying to play it cool, Kira kept sneaking glances at the massive horn display off to the side, clearly surprised in a way she couldn't hide. That said, I felt a distinct shortage of hyperactivity given the presence of a certain someone in our party. Don Quixote? The eye of a second kindred of whose tepes was it? What is it doing here? Tepes? At the mention of the word kindred, I couldn't help but follow Don Quixote's gaze. Opposite the well was another kind of exhibiting contained its leaning on the more gruesome side of things, starting with the crimson eyeball that caught Don Quixote's attention, and body parts like hands and bones that look as though they had been stripped from the human body. This one, I think, seems like it, and a hand. It's a gallery of the School of Fauvism, probably a main studio at that, which comes with a maestro atelier and an action house. She said the line! Alan, we'll be making our exit shortly, prepared to initiate lockdown sequence. Before Hohenheim could even finish his urgent transmission, numerous footsteps closed in from somewhere nearby. So he's bigger than he seems? Well, it did look quite... Oh. Oh, I have already VG maximum. You hear the music, my friend? Well, what else I say? Oh yeah, in the teaser he did look massive. Turning towards the sound of shows clacking on the floor, we found strange figures wearing animal masks staring directly at us. That presence is kinda like Papa's. Anyway, that's not a right, boss. We can clear out other level. We gotta get out of here. It's not that simple. Retreating is not a viable solution here. This door is connected to the House of Spiders. Escaping without installing a security system will invite pursuit. We must stall them until Allah is ready to initiate the lockdown sequence. As tension thickened, one of the strangers who wore a peculiar bone mask stepped forward. Ah man, shame is not a fighting team, it's just presentation. That voice that talks to Scarlet equal part curiosity and delight. You came through that door. Then the house phone wasn't just a baseless rumor. A stray little spiderling fallen from her parents' web. How many years has it been? You, who are you? Ah, right. It makes sense that you will fail to recognize me. I used to wear a different mask back when I used to visit as your tutor, didn't I? Ah, well, if memory serves me right. Yes, that must have been when I was quite captivated by the sensation of tearing into the raw, still stretching flesh of a living prey, and the predator's ferocious yet cavernously resonant howling. Rings a bell? You are that master whose whole lesson was a 3-hour sermon preaching the intensity of primary crawlers and the strength of living creatures. Benoit, was it? Oh, it's Benoit. That's right. Emile Benoit. And they say you can hatch a phoenix from a chicken's egg. Doesn't always apply, is it? Looks like that mind of yours is still sly as a raven, unlike your nurse father's. Ish, don't presume. I don't remember you because the tactility of heights and gusts made for a possible artwork. At first glance, it looked like Roshi was casually taking a trip down memory lane with the maestro, but I had a feeling she was in fact dragging this out on purpose to buy us time. Tag lockdown sequencing, how much longer till it's ready? Young Hohenheim, the lockdown sequence. Don Quixote, who had been shooting the ring members, an intense glare sparked by the discovery of a kindred's eye, swiftly relayed my words to her without even a hint of her earlier shenanigans. I'm afraid the progress and speed of the lockdown sequence lies in Alan's hands, not mine. It is by its nature a time-consuming work. We cannot expect haste. Perhaps that does make this a suitable juncture to trial Plan A. Any suggestions that involve Don Quixote removing her shoes will not be dignified with a serious discussion. Instead, maybe what Hohenheim had in mind had nothing to do with Don Quixote's shoes, because he opened his mouth as though he was about to retort to Faust's categorical rejection. With the moment he followed Faust's eyes and saw what she was looking at, he quietly shut his mouth and said nothing further. Fight in potentiality is not something I dislike. As for this, however, this seems more like grasping at straws. At the end of their gaze was Ryoshu's blade, Arayashiki. I was going to try using it anyways. I have long wanted to see if a maestro's death is any different. Telling him that we were just leaving won't work with it? No, it won't. Every individual present here will be quite a fascinating specimen to the artists of the ring. We are practically a windfall of inspiration and material that has conveniently been delivered to them. Is it improbable that they will allow us to return unharmed? Faust is right. She and Hohenheim are geniuses, and Ryoshu is the wielder of Arayashiki. Don Quixote is a kindred of a higher generation, and I happen to host a golden bow in my head. I have no idea how much information the ring has on us. But even if they knew nothing, they wouldn't let us go easily. Are you sure about this, Ryoshu? Doesn't matter if I am sure about this or not, Clock. Think of that woman as Lei Heng and do as you did in Honglu, no what? HC Mansion. I will take care of the rest. Right, that's probably our best shot. What Ryoshu meant was quite clear. Resonate with the golden bow, secure an advantage to fight on equal footing, then catch them off guard by slowing down the flow of time. Heathcliff. A cut from Terra, again, if it doesn't give us the real fighting chance, might at least stall the maestro long enough to give us the time to get away. This floor of the exhibit only houses submissions from students and docents. But if you look closely enough, there are some possible ones that show the province of excellence. And above all, this is the gallery of the School of Fauvism. And mine, the gallery of Emile Benoit. Which is why I would have preferred to take you without an unnecessary fight, if possible. A shame. As if we were talking about a unique relic here, a masterless one at that. Acquiring the Arayashiki makes it worth the cost. If you want a taste. You can draw it, can't you, Ryoshu? Confusion flickered across Ryoshu's face as she tried to unsheath her blade. What's the matter? Oh, the lock the House of Sires used to bind the Arayashiki no longer exists. So why? Well, there is the lock of Araya after all. Why can't I draw the blade? No, that's unexpected. So the rumors of you mastering that relic were they false? The maestro only gave a low swing of her arm, but it was enough to make Ryoshu recoil. A shadow of surprise crossed her face. The wound looked like nothing more than a light gash, yet the maestro's contemplative gaze shifted between the blood on Ryoshu's arm and her own, as though the attack had been an experiment to prove an hypothesis. It wasn't hard to guess what she was thinking. Ish, notice, did you? I had my doubts from the moment I saw you today. Was the House of Spiders a success or a failure? Tell me, Yoshihide, what you think a serpent's defining strength is. What are you on about now? Ask any student and he will give the same predictable answer. The deadly venom, the sleek scales, why is lamentably disappointing? The snake? Is his name unknown? Or what would they say? The master advanced towards us with a certainty. Then sees a beige thread dangling from the ceiling. No, calling it a mere thread will be wrong. It was something that resembled a thread, yet felt much more disturbing. I have for one have a particular liking for the jaw and the spine. So they mean physical one. Yeah, well, I like the one with the jaw that could open as long as it could. The flexibility of the spine linked like a chain, and the jaw bound not by bone but by ligaments that allowed the animal to swallow its prey wall. Oh, perhaps I should have said that admired structural refinement. The tricoil ring on her ring finger. So it was a woman. On her ring finger gave off a cold gleam, and the walls and the ceiling suddenly began to echo, with the sickening scourge and crack of flesh and bones assembling. What the hell is that? Which brings me to ask, what better way to claim this delivery of promising material with a single bite than a work of art fashioned from a snake? The master plunged her arm into the long serpentine's body of a monster. Her sheer presence radiated a pressure as oppressive as that of the nurse fathers, only more primal and untempered. Considered a privilege. This is the first time this piece has ever been exhibited to an outsider. Hohenheim is the lockdown sequence still not ready? 1 minute to go, step aside. The attack from Tego gear, Hohenheim hastily brandished the enemy last a moment. The weapon was knocked from his hand. As I scrambled to equip the singer with an identity, something abruptly stopped. Tips like appendages midway through its hurtling motion. And the one who intercepted the blow, Kira. So it is like a giant snake? Ah, shit. Damn, so it's like giant, huh? Oh, I hope we do fight it. It's going to be fun, man. Was Kira struggling to push back against the serpentine, armed with her steel sealed blades? Kira? Did she suddenly have a change of heart I wasn't aware of? Shit, this wasn't the plan at all. Obviously not, she couldn't have changed her mind that quickly, because the look on her face couldn't be anything other than that of utter regret. The middle? For someone who doesn't have to be a proper member, you have in quite the quantity of tattoos under yourself. Aha, you must be the new kid what I stuck in. Why do you stand in my way? Fuck if I know, I'm already regretting it, alright? Damn it, they're defo gonna ditch me here, why did I even... Must be instinct taking over, couldn't fully shake off the opponent's killing intent, so the body chose to clash head on. So the behavioral facet of the physique can be controlled with suitable training. Unexpected data be useful to be sure. Shut it, mister, quit jumping and let me use my blades. Authorized and ready, lifting locks now. Kira's thermal weapons emerged from their sheaths with a metallic clang. She used the recoil of the motion to skid back and assume a defensive stance. Naturally, that broke Benoit's arm from the deadlock as well. The maestro lashed out again with the monstrous Limbus. Huh? This full injustice to strike against an unprepared opponent in a duel. Behold, for I shall allow the agonies of the badass form that only the most renowned of fixtures have displayed through the ages. Seeing an opening, Don Quixote slammed into the arm with her full might, knocking it off its trajectory. Predictably, however, the sheer force of the maestro's attack instantly reduced her hair to a red sludge of flesh and bones, sending her remains crashing into the door. Ready to initiate lockdown sequence, I will seal the door immediately upon your exit. Run to the door of Faust retrieve the organic remains of sinner number 3. As Faust made her exit with what was once Don Quixote's Sons of the Ring surrounded Kira, barring her way out, a hollow chuckle slept out her lips. Call it for real. This is exactly why they didn't want to get involved. Taking Kira back with us will mean having a sizable force of the ring trade rank behind her through the door. Kira too seemed to have realized the risk that no one in her right mind would want to take. She lowered her head in defeat, as though she knew full well the fate that awaited her. In such a dumbass, what was I thinking doing in like that? You don't just stand there, get over here now. But this guy's gonna come flooding in if you talk too much, want to scream half again? You pin this on me later, you know you're gonna pay. Blocking the maestro's arm by air as it came down on her again, Kira hurled herself towards the door with every bit of strength she could muster. More than a few students rushing through the doorway, chasing after the seniors who had gone in a headbutt. They are separated, aren't they? Lockdown sequence complete, all backdoors links have been cut. Fortunately, Alan managed to sever the connection between the two backdoors before the maestro could cross over. Well, could think you can still use your arms? I'm fine. So she says. Kira will be a strong enough addition to a fight for us, but the ring members that have managed to cross-form a rather sizable force. Use students. Nothing fancy. Fighting them off with just as soon as I have advanced will not be the best course of action. In that case, guys, assume you are all available right now. As soon as I call out the sinners, their voices come through Hohenheim's radio one after another. I guess so. Ready for your order, executive manager. I Otis am prepared to answer your call whenever and wherever. Hang on, I just need to finish this by run to me. Sip of water. So I do have tequila. A lot weaker. Let's see. Hopefully it loses the question mark, the middle cross, the spider cross, and the fingers cross. Oh, and now it's appearing like a sinner. Not like Vergil. No, wait, actually, Vergilius also appear like that in this fight. And two blues, just get thermal blades on. The middle cross. Hit one more than 2 skills gain the middle style augmentation tattoos. Yes, music baby! When hit by skill gain grudge, and max use a powerful attack, the Violet Breaking Slam. 5 coins. It was 4, no? Burn plus bleed, shame. Probably should use bleed then. Impulsive Focus Student of the Ring and Feral Focus Student of the Ring. And also I'm going to show this fight, like these new enemies I suppose. Next one's probably going to skip them, but anyways the chapter for this one is almost getting to a close. Quite a lot of story and I don't want to make them too large. Intense primary color rouge. Before hitting, if the target does not have bleed, inflict 3 bleed count, once per turn per enemy. Left obvious, mask the Shien. On hit with a skill, inflict mask color rouge. And gain 1 attack power next turn for every formal color rouge, inflict 2 times per turn. The first step is always put a single animal, and with every quest for an ferocity? For art and ferocity, another basis layer on top the previous specimen. Oh, so like this one, it was first eagle, I suppose, and now it's also getting a, how you call it, goat. When this unit or an ally is hit, gain offense level up, and final brush stroke. When this unit skill inflict color roach on to random enemies, and feral, what do you do? What is to mask? Sinking count. Blue. Level beast mask the Shevrahivo. On hit with a skill inflict more color blue. Blue. If the unit has hate, a free additional gain 1 haste next turn for every formal color blue inflicted 2 times per turn. There are beasts that fall in and out of bog within the school of Albism, yes, but a true artist must take fierce pride in a single animal as the underdrawing which best represents their unique self. As the underdrawing which best represents their unique self. Despite this wisdom, however, there are some who flit from beast to beast, as so the self is nothing more than a costume to be worn and discarded. A Lacritos expression, if this unit's pet is faster than the target's clash power, +1. So they have to begin with 1. It's, yes. Crash counter. We took forward. What color do you have? Yellow. We'll actually probably just win right fights like this, but if it's the only one I'm going to show, well, not the only one technically, I'm going to show, I guess, important enemies later. If he doesn't make his way of maybe Alan Betrayus, and talking about that jokingly, I don't think they would make something like that. I can put scratch. Can clash words clash between them? Good time to know, I suppose. You will discard a skill to prefer to use it then. Gain a little. Well, don't lose sanity more like it. I can see the clashing guard. Also, what order did I get?
태어난 곳으로 돌아가라. 속삭.
Are there higher level than us? Oh yeah, no, they don't clash within them. 60 no? 60? Didn't even see her attacks. Totally bad as kicking, time for some warm-up, disemboweling and crossing dervish. Antivirus breaking slam! Red. Oh. Magical power, it's alright. Like the music.
무덤으로 돌아가라.
First time I'm going to see this attack actually in use. Didn't get hit by Kira a single time when in her fight. Right here. Doesn't matter here. She's going to use all bullets, so I guess let it be a complete one. Into this card. Well, maintain debate. 4 coins. Oh, she's activating it even if we get hit. The scene repeat. Oh, rapide. And yes, I wanted to do the event. Oh, that's how they look. Because I want to test a new unit. More salt. But I have to wait for Rodier, right? I don't know how much useful is Mersault without Rodia for his passive. Well, the mask. The Shen needs him to put them roach colors. Well, roach color 10 times. And the abilities is only applies 1 if they hit. Except the skill tree that one does apply roach, but it's a skill tree. It's only the well, yeah, I guess in Mirror Dungeon you don't care. It's only the first door, and the impediments are already beyond expected vessels. It's where I thought that was it for me back there. Events of this nature won't be frequent were merely beset by ill luck. If you had just listened to me and picked another road, we wouldn't have gotten cocked like that in the first place. Like, why even drag me into this if you weren't gonna trust me with those? We would have opened them all at the end of the day. SD. What is the small No. Small detail? SD, what's the same difference? Again, why shorten it like that? Just say it da or something. Or just put it down and say it was anticipated. That's the good work, everyone. Wherefore it does have a team dedicated to this sort of task, but the mortality rate is quite high. Honestly, I was bracing myself for the worst. Yeah, like what happened with Callisto, well, Hong Louis story. That they did become art without even making much of a resistance. The odds of completing the first door of an expedition without any casualties are under 50%. This by all measures counts as a flawless expedition. Tapping away at his divided interest us with an amicable smile, he seemed totally different from the same man who had manhandled Kira with a fist to her face. Those Fabis won't be able to cross over anymore with the door completely locked down, right? That cannot be started with certainty, considering they can make another door. Are you saying more might come? The corridors and back doors have always been the ring's dwarf clock. And those Fabis beasts have endured as a long-standing faction within the ring. So the art movements do change with time? Well, Corporines seems like in the decline, considering their limit to themselves as the master arts. If they got that much history, they must know many backdoors, both the origin and destination points. Alan clarified what Russia was hinting at. Yes, compared to them, we lack sufficient knowledge of alternate routes, which makes it difficult to prevent infiltration. No need to concern yourself of very much. Even if that were the case, it is unlikely they will move on the House of Spiders so soon. They could always rush for a surprise attack, though. Even that Fauvis Maestro seemed to lack clear intel on the event that took place at the House of Spiders. If so, it follows that they will need time to assess and deliberate about this situation. The situation? The logical scope of their concerns will be identifying the organization that has secured the House of Spiders, the possibility of additional traps beyond the backdoors and the like. Once all backdoor-related procedures tied to the House of Spiders are completed, the resulting security framework should be able to preempt and block any infiltration attempts. This operation is more important than I thought. That aside, will Conrad draw the blade? Is it the new Scabbard's fault? Ryoshu lifted the sheathed sword with an irritated frown. And that's when I felt a fine vibration. The blade was twitching ever so slightly. That quivering most pain does seem by all indeed. Namasai too, it's his bosses or something. Looks like I wasn't the only one who saw the sword twitching, as though it was some pleased at all with how Ryoshu was talking about the scabbard. Well, it's Araya after all. Ryoshu's gaze lingered on the sword before slowly shifting toward the back doors. Could it be that seeing the scabbard brought back some memories of Araya? Ryoshu, is in an SS? A demonage? An enchanted blade? Which is it? It's probably neither of those, nor is it a sentient sword. This presents a fine opportunity to conduct another examination of the sword. Excuse us for a moment, Team Leader Alan. Please feel free to go ahead. The attacks just now damaged some devices, so we're going to have to perform some maintenance before continuing. There's plenty of other work for me to do while you're away too. A way to return to the headquarters research facility then? No, that won't be necessary. There is a facility here that should prove more than adequate.
모처럼 괜찮은 예술을 보나 했더니 벌써
So yeah, they have
전부 채우.
a few red coins like the puppets,
해야 할 귀천도 없나.
but I would say they do less damage because, man, the puppets in, well, yeah, the corporis puppets in last chapter were quite annoying because they roll very well with the 3 coin red skill. Which hour is it? Relics and I know I think this one's going to be important, so I guess it's good stopping point. Quite oriented shutter, but yeah, don't want to make them extremely long, I would say. Or am I? Maybe use one more, to make well actually I'm not going to use Inkefari. Hohenheim brought us to what looked like a research lab lined with cables, rows of screens and diagrams full of complex symbols and shapes. And I still have a little bit of water, so I can continue to talk. That I want to maintain a little bit of moist throat to not develop another calcium. I just got rid of it, so don't want to make another one. I know there was a place like this in the House of Spiders. This is a forward base constructed by the Limbus company following Operation Spiderfire. It did not exist prior to the house's fall. It is intended for additional backdoor investigation and research into regular phenomena observed during the operation. Irregular phenomena? An example, research subjects such as a special analysis of the correlation between the emergences of Sinner's number 11 signs and the manifestation of a possible future. Oh. Looking around, I spotted Sinclair and a group of researchers surrounding him, the same people who had driven him off earlier. They were accompanied by a gaggle of sinners who had tagged along to either watch the show or kill some time while they took a breather afterward. Hohenheim, how long will the examination take? With Sinclair's biometric assessment conclude, the analyzer device should be available for the relic now. Which means that it should be finished in an hour from now at the latest. The scabbard rattled against at the mention of an hour. I don't know why or how, but the way it's swayed, it almost felt like a child trembling. It's moving again. Come along, I should expect you will want to witness the procedure. Fine. Gresham and Hohenheim head off to the side. The examination was already going to start immediately. Then to get to Sinclair then? Wait. I was making my way towards Sinclair, who was getting bombarded with questions when an unexpected figure behind a pillar caught my eye. It was Vespa Cabro with a big piece of paper covered in crook handwriting tapped on his back. Snack thief? Ah, manager. Caron snacks, Mr. String being ate up all of them. Sorry, but I think there's been some misunderstanding. Berg kick his ass. Not only in this matter not worth pointing fingers over, but Caron also shares some of the responsibility for leaving them out of the table unattended. Still, I will prefer you exercise more care next time, or you will put me in that tough spot. Understood. Caron, super sulky mode engage. Not talking for a half a day. Deploying super pass biter candy. Beep beep mod disable. I'm not sure if this is an appropriate request, but might remove the paper from my back now. It's a little inconvenient for me. Caron forgive this time, next time no mercy. Best make sure she doesn't listen to that radio channel again. Mercurius looked on with an inscrutable expression as Caron peeled the snack thief sign off Vespa's back. Make sure to remember this, so I don't have to think I'm burning through what real candy chance I have left on such trivial nonsense. Thank you. Vespa gave a polite thanks, but he was already picking something off another plate and stuffing it into his mouth. Wait a minute, I was saving that for later? I assume you were being picky. Well, now you know, yet I still see you gobbling up my share. I took my snack too, Berg kick his ass. Rodion Romanovich. First time we see her complete name? I am aware that half of the total snack budget allocated to each sinner is being funneled into your snacking expenses. I know you're raiding the LCA supplies as well. That has been agreed upon, okay? Besides that and this is this. What? The lines on Bergerius Brown look deeper than usual today. Hoping to help him out of his endless cycle of snack-related headaches, and to satisfy my own nagging curiosity, I drew near our guide and broke his brooding silence with my TikToks. Did we learn anything about Sinclair's sign? Dante is inquiring about the outcome of the research on the sign. I have heard from the researchers, but nothing of particular significance came off of it. Observation of the sign has been so far limited to 2 individuals, the manager and Sinclair, due to the limited accessibility to the phenomenon. The only verifiable information has so far been its existence. Researching that which cannot be observed is bound to be difficult. Faust has a point. Aside from Sinclair, none of the sinners can actually see the sign. And the same will go for the researchers. Even Sonia said only select people could perceive it. If there were more individuals bearing signs, there will be a wider pool for a comparative analysis of statistical samples to narrow down the scope. However, records indicate no suitable reference exists. At present, the research effort is limited to reducing variables such as whether or not the regular phenomena are tied to the location where the battle took place. By individuals here bearing signs, do you mean people like Demian and Sanson? Wait, then could those guys do what Sinclair did? Pull in some superpower for yourself and just wreck everything? Even Sonia? I should step in and put an end to this subject before Roddy gets the blues. I don't think so from what Ishmael and Faust reported back then. Right, Sinclair from the future said each sign carries a different power, I think. Maybe you know those layers of light rings Damien used to finish off Cromer or Sanson dragging those into his story. Those could be it. Aye, that does seem plausible. So none of that is information we can confirm yet. Correct. As you have stated, any discussion of this subject would not venture beyond the realm of wild speculation. Nothing has been proved yet, ergo fear will be unnecessary response at the present. This is at best grounded in superstition, but it would seem that the researchers are coaxing forth a hypothesis from the vestige left in the wake of Sinclair's future self. Oh, that bit about the sign maybe being some singularity or whatever, yeah. The precise position of the hypothesis was that the fundamental principles of the sign working might be equivalent to those of singularities or relics. Would as not actual evidence was obtained from Sinclair, there is presently no means by which this hypothesis might be validated. I see. Then nothing came out of them dragging Sinclair off for that research. Oh, you also thought I was being dragged off? Well, still let it happen. Anyway. I know, I mean, I'm kidding, just so I would try going along with them. Phil Sinclair wouldn't have even thought to joke around like that. He's really changed lately for the better, I think. So, did anything happen that would show worry about? I stood close to him just in case nothing serious came up. Just took some blood, a small skin sample. Oh, and they were also checking if sign reacts to electrical stimulation. Yeah, and I had to fill out some questionnaires too. Things like, please describe what you remember from the battle exactly as it happened, or list the sensations you felt when you regained consciousness. And your memories of that moment have yet to return? No, I don't know if they will ever come back actually. First said they only exist within my future self, so... Wait, would my future self to even have those memories shown I carried them in the first place? Which comes first? A paradox it would seem, in such a case. That Sinclair is merely one branch among many possible futures. If the future unfolds, this is going to be, yes. If the future unfolds into boundless branches by means of ceaseless bifurcation, then the body of information that constitutes a certain future will scatter into grains more fleeting than dust, to diminish to ever reverse their course and trace their paths back to the self that now exists. Is that the theory suggested? Oh, bro. Not a certainty, but a plausible interpretation. Here you go again, more of that nonsense only you would understand. Oi, memory or not, the future guy still came out to him, didn't he? then some part of him's gotta be left in there somewhere, yeah, like muscle memory of whatever. Perhaps he can still pull off some of those tricks from back then. Here you kick off a proper out, even pull out that trick you pick from that little geezer, right? Not just that, he was using that man technique quite effortlessly too. What? That glowing ring thing? Yup, the glowing ring thing. He had 2 of them colored around his weapon. I used the glowing red thing. This is the first time I'm hearing anything about it. Alright, so what exactly is that glowing ring thing? Anyone? Maybe some technique that enhances physical capability? I mean, I guess that flashy aura that makes you real tough one part of it, but there's gotta be more, right? Vergilius, talk to me, Vergilius. Because I haven't let Leviathan, I don't know either. Don't know, could be a sacred finger thing they pass down to the members technique or something like that. Look at it, that black coney leader, that Leihen prick, and Tenor's father with a wall up of them fingers, ain't they? The notion seems to unravel forever among the LCD, the word those who came to will it. And Vergilius too. So what, only the proper hard bastards can use it? Some pushed up and trick, is it? Probably, yeah. Without anyone in particular prompting it, the sinners slowly turned their gaze towards Vergilius and Vespa. Finally, let's talk about Mag. Let's talk about Garou. I learned to will it from my team leader too, and have a sensory understanding of Shin, but I can't claim nothing too profound. However, what I can spare are some rumors, though they are all without proper sources. Rumors are rumors, at the end of the day they can still work if verified. There's circulate among elite fixers and associations leadership. Oh, so maybe leaders. Maybe Xiao begins to use Mang too. That there exists a power called Shin, capable of enhancing the body without having to pay expensive upkeep costs. A rumor among fixers says so. Yes, even the technique to manifest it, how the tips really spread through hearsay. Oh yeah, that tracks, that super rookie column in the latest Mag bonus bit, but was really popping off with it. Straight up Aura Farm with a Shinny Man wrap around the weapon. Bro, Aura Farm? It must mean that my eyes are yet to be privy to such a marvel in a video. Wait, you serious? Is it in the latest issue literally on the videotape in the back? Maybe you missed it? Videotape? Alas, for many a week I'm stranded for Mephi, robbing me of a chance to read not only the private chronicle but the latest one as well. Woe is me when I return I shall feast through the night upon those noble exploits of a victory fixers. As Don Quixote dramatically spurred into a state of utter dejection, Otis caught into conversation, her gaze narrowing with suspicion. From what I recall, the mantle of Shin grants its user a high degree of physical enhancement. There is no such thing as reinforcement without supplies. No power of that magnitude comes without an equivalent cost to wield it. That power drains the main, the SP, relies on emotion and will for manifestation. Its output is not consistent like processes and augmentation. Yes, like an ego, I suppose. Oh well, maybe. Never thought about it. Could it be like an early sign that someone has the potential from ego too? Well. I'm getting ahead of myself. And depending on how it is used, the consequences demands can reach levels comparable to the ego you use. Oh. So yes. Well, not my hypothesis, but somewhat similar. You meant to say that it says at all upon the mind. I can walk you through the fundamentals as if you would like. From what I observed, it appeared to be a technique reserved for those of considerable strength. At our current level, is it not unreasonable to assume we could make use of it? Regarding that, our team leader has been conducting intensive research, and according to her, physical strength itself has little bearing on one's ability to learn and will Shin. It's only your mind. As the yellow harpoon says, it is in essence a power that can be learned by almost anyone provided they know the proper method of training. Vespa Browns visibly twitched the moment yellow harpoon left Virgilius' lips. Yeah, doesn't seem like he's been a big fan of his own title, the yellow harpoon. Well, it fits, I think. He's got those yellow stripes on his clothes and he uses a harpoon too. Can he argue with that? He uses a lance, no? Gunger? If I were to exaggerate, even Synergy Sang's pre-contract self could manage to learn it. So even the bare minimum of human power can wield it. Why must this self of mine be chosen at the best point of comparison? Well, cause you are the with one kid. They have to tell him like that. Heathcliff, you destroyed him. Don't let it get to you. Even so it would even so it would be a mistake to assume it's a power anyone can grasp with ease. As long as you are bound by a contract, as soon as your ability to wield it will be severely limited, unless you rely on particular identities or come upon an extraordinary circumstance. Shame, that would be useful. Hey, then what about me? Can I learn it too? Kira, who had been fidgeting with her fingers, raised an arm and asked as though she couldn't hold the question back any longer. Come to think of it, the millionaire's father didn't use any shin or mang. No, with only tattoos. He blocked all the damage. Papa never taught me how to use it. He always said I could get stronger without a stupid crutch like that. It wasn't that he didn't teach you, he couldn't. He was a man who probably had never once reflected upon his own sins. A piece of trash like he would be incapable of even comprehending such a power in the first place. These first responses always come back dripping with venomous hatred whenever the conversation turns to the topic of the fingers. Kira must have noticed too, or perhaps she simply couldn't find the right words to push back. Either way, she held her tongue, her expression settling into a blend of frustration and something that looked a little too close to sadness. If you want to reduce it to a yes or no, then yes, you will be able to learn it with the odds in your favor. That is, assuming that the company decides to tolerate your continued existence. I already said I get it. As it stands, you are nothing more than a pending case of disposal, closer to a threat than you are to an ally, strictly speaking. Don't get comfortable because the manager and the seniors treat you with lenience. Step out of line and you will be the one who pays the price. There was nothing in what you said that I could argue with. Kira had been a member of the House of Spiders. She murdered scores of LC researchers and left us with plenty of memories we would rather not revisit. For now, we're just working together, not contesting the decision doesn't mean we have no hard feelings towards her. Leaving Kira alone with her thoughts, the seniors slipped back into their own business, snacks, sail each other and conversations about whatever had happened around LCE. The examination is concluded. I suppose it won't be an issue to let you hear the results together. And before we knew it, Hockenheimer should return. No, it's proper length. 1 hour and a half. The next ones are well, if they have fights, right? I am talking as if the fight in the beginning had a lot of length. Reketsuin. The Araya's Echo. But yeah, that will be all for the moment. We will continue later. I don't think it's going to be pretty long. Other intervals, what are 80 more or less? Let me check. Spring cultivation. Yeah, this one 12. Also, this one was a lot longer for the training period. So let's say return and sweeping. 26. I still don't think it's going to be. Well, it has a story. Maybe. It depends. But still, I'm praying for likeness, so it's not like I have a lot of. How do you call it? Haste. Because I can still not dispense it until Wednesday. So thank you for watching. Well, if someone was watching, hope you like it. Maybe if there are recommendations to talk a bit more or something, or if I left the fights. I don't think so. A lot of people tend to a lot of people tend to skip the fights too or edit over it. I will probably just show the beginning and end of the fight, just skipping it till someone important drops. So thank you for watching. Hope see you next time. Bye bye.